Paramount Plus with the Patriots at the Broncos. That one getting underway. 3 o'clock Eastern, we continue the other side of the bracket in the NFC. The Rams and the Seahawks going head-to-head at 6:30. Championship weekend delivered by Little Caesars, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL. We almost got the full gang back together here as we welcome you into CBS Sports HQ. We are setting the table for Championship Sunday. Haley Sutton, happy to be joined alongside our D lineman, Lige Duzable, our GM, Rand Carthon, and our longtime reporter, all things positive, Pete Prisco. I haven't seen you in a while, Pete, so I didn't know what nickname I was going to give you there.
Positive Pete. How do you like that?
That's what we're calling you, Positive Pete, going into Championship Sunday.
Always.
Always. All right. Right where we left off. All right, well, fellas, obviously we've got some exciting football coming up. It all gets started on CBS at 3 o'clock today. Of course, the Broncos and the Patriots. This one was so exciting until just about the end of the divisional round there in Denver. We got the news about Bo Nix. He is not going to play in this one, had season-ending surgery. So it's going to be up to Jarrett Stidham here to lead the ship in Denver. On the other side of this one, we've got Drake May, a guy who's chasing history. He's already done so much here, Pete. First thoughts when it comes to this matchup?
Well, let's start with Drake May. People are forgetting this is his first road playoff start. I mean, that matters when you're a young quarterback. And I think, we just talk about Jarrett Stidham and his situation being what it is, but you forget that this is a tough task for Drake May in your first start on the road against a top defense in that environment. So let's not just discount that at all.
Yeah, I mean, everything Pete said, this is his first road start. But I want to go back to just Bo Nix. The fact that he played on that ankle to get his team to this point says a lot about that young man's toughness.
About 2 plays.
So what?
There he is. Positive.
I think one of them was a knee.
Listen, Pete, you could walk from this point of the studio to the other point.
You'd be surprised. I have a high pain threshold.
Here we go.
There we go.
Have high pain thresholds dealing with you for as long as we have had to deal with you. But I saw a couple snaps of where it showed the grimace on his face and what he had to endure to get. That says a lot about his toughness and his willingness to lay it on the line for his teammates. I know where I want to go in terms of this game, in terms of who I'll pick to win the game, but there's just something about this Broncos team and this quarterback situation that has a little magic there for me.
And to me, it always comes down to storylines, Haley. When you look at it, Drake May can become the second youngest quarterback to start in the Super Bowl behind Dan Marino. And then look at his coach, Mike Vrabel. He can become the second person behind Gary Kubiak to not only play for a Super Bowl, but also coach in one and win it for the same franchise he played if he were able to do that with the Patriots. And then the other side, we talked about Jarrett Stidham. That's the main storyline when you talk about this game, right? A guy that's making his first start this season in the playoffs, a guy that hasn't taken a regular season snap since 2023. If there's any coach that I trust to overcome this, it's Sean Payton because he's done it in the past. Yeah,
I think it's like 786 days since he threw a pass in the regular season. Obviously, he's got preseason reps, but that's a lot of time there. And to your point, New England 0-4 on the road at Denver. Obviously, history is not the same as now, but some things to keep our eye on there. If we push over to the other side of this bracket, the NFC. We've seen this song and dance before, right? Yeah. Ravens, Seahawks, round 3 here. But Lige, interesting when you look at this one, it's truly strength on strength. You've got the #1 scoring defense against the #1 offense. So does defense really win championships here?
We're going to find out today, right? And we saw this was a shootout last time. 38-37 could have been the game of the year on a short week on a Thursday night game. That defense from Seattle, they got blistered, especially through the air. Matt Stafford threw for 450 yards. So I know the mentality of those players on that defense. They're going to remember that. Even though they had an outstanding game last week versus San Francisco 49ers, they remember getting embarrassed on that side of the ball on Thursday night. So you talked about it, Haley. This is the third time around, right? Third time's a charm. I'm excited for this one because divisional foes in the NFC Championship game, it can go either way.
Yeah, man, when it comes to Sean McVay and he's preparing for a winner-takes-all type of opportunity against a common opponent, a team that he's used to seeing. Oh, and by the way, his buddies Kyle Shanahan and all the like, they have also schemed I'm pretty sure all those guys have had a couple little conversations at the front house.
Texting one another.
Like, hey, how did you go about this? But I'm just interested to see how both teams are going to adjust, right? What new wrinkle will we see out of Mike Macdonald in this defense, and what new wrinkle will we see out of Sean McVay in this offense to kind of keep the other side off key?
You know, it's amazing. They played 2 games, and we forget that there was a 61-yard field goal in the first one that could have won the first one for Seattle, and then they had to rally back and to win the second one. They're separated by 1 point in those 2 games. Think about that, 1 point. And both of them could have gone either way as it is. So I think it sets up for Sean McVay versus Mike Macdonald. I mean, that's the story. How do you attack him, and can Matt Stafford have success like he did last time? I wonder if he can, by the way.
Yeah, there's a lot of storylines, of course, in this. We didn't even talk about the pass catchers in this matchup, too. A lot of things we're going to dig into. But, of course, we have to get to the betting side of all of this. So how are we making some money? Let's send things over to our girl, Katie Mox, who's standing by with Todd Furman to help us out with some winning plays. What's up, Katie?
What's up, guys? Good to see all of you. Happy Championship Sunday. And happy Championship Sunday to our guy, Todd, who is going to pop up here. As you guys have already laid out 2 incredible matchups today, Todd. Let's start with the AFC. Once Bo Nix was ruled out, we saw this number skyrocket to 5.5, favoring the Patriots on the road. Now it's settled to 3.5, proving obviously bettors have some confidence in Jarrett Stidham and this Denver Broncos defense. We've seen this total move from 40.5 to 43.5. What's the market telling you?
The definition of an unknown commodity, and I think that's what all of us as football fans and bettors alike are walking into this New England-Denver AFC Championship game, wondering exactly how this Denver offense will perform without their starting quarterback in Bo Nix. And you mentioned where the number opened in that 5.5 range. We did see a couple of sports books as high as 6, with a look-ahead number that was expected to open with Denver a 1.5, 2-point favorite if Bo Nix was healthy and the results held like we saw last weekend. But here we were with a number that completely swung. Bo Nix making a 7-point impact on the point spread was a bridge way too far in my estimation, and we're seeing that in the market as well. What surprised me a little bit, though, Katie, I thought 4.5 was kind of going to be the stopping point for this particular game. But on game day, as the betting limits start to increase, we've seen even more money from professional bettors coming on the Broncos, taking this number from 4 down to 3.5. And you also alluded to the total, a real reverse correlation taking place. And what I mean using that particular language is that you typically think a backup quarterback, it's going to be about defense, trying to run the football and play a little bit of a lower scoring game. That's the exact opposite of what's unfolded here. Denver taking money, the game being bet over the total as well. And I think part of that is because this Denver defense has a lot of questions they have to answer. It's a stop unit that a lot of people laud as being one of the best in the NFL, but it hasn't looked truly elite. Buffalo was able to move the football pretty consistently, didn't punt one single time last week. So a fascinating matchup for a variety of reasons to see if Denver can keep up if New England is able to attack this Broncos defense.
I'll tell you what, Todd, when it was 5.5, I was definitely willing to look at the Broncos. But now that it's ticked all the way down to 3.5, I do believe the Patriots can cover this number. Let's move on now to the NFC. Steady Seahawks support has kept this line at 2.5, but the Rams keep showing some resistance as a dog here. We did see the total drop from 2 points to 45.5. When you look at this one, what are you seeing that it stayed at 2.5? Is that interesting to you, or does it make sense?
So we'll start with the side. You mentioned this number staying below the key in that 2.5 range. Again, you did have a couple of books early on Sunday. Opened this game with Seattle a 3-point favorite. Immediately, those threes were gobbled up. You figured that bettors thought there was a much better chance the number was going to trend towards 2.5 than ever having an opportunity to flicker in that 3.5 range. You go through this Rams resume all season long. They've lost a grand total of 1 football game by more than 3 points, and that was on the unique circumstances, to say the least, back in Week 3 against the Philadelphia Eagles. So even when the Rams lose games, they're always in them from start to finish. The intangibles all favor the Seahawks, so you can understand a little bit of why this game has really been a battle in that 2.5 range. Still questions that have to be answered with injuries, whether it's Sam Darnold and that oblique that really wasn't tested against your beloved 49ers last week, how the Seahawks will distribute carries with Kenneth Walker being the bell cow, but having George Holani and Cam Akers in the fold as well. And the Rams on the other side, yes, they have a high level of familiarity, but this team will now be playing its 7th game on the road in 9 weeks. Never an enviable spot. In terms of the total that you mentioned there, 47 is always one of the key numbers in totals, especially the way the NFL is played in this modern era. 47.5 is where this opened. We're now down in that 45.5, 46 range. I think there are a lot of people out there that believe this game is going to look a lot more like the first meeting we saw between these two teams than that high-flying track meet, the 38-37 win for the Seahawks. What I think is so fascinating about the familiarity and the rubber match here is that you can make a legitimate case. The Seahawks were the better team the first time around, lost that game 21-19, and the Rams were the much better team the second time around, a game they lost 38-37, blowing a 16-point lead. So a real battle around the side here, but you've seen a little bit of one-way traffic taking this total down, thinking that you could be a little bit more defensively inclined for the Rams and Seahawks to do battle for the third time this year.
Todd, what a solid breakdown there. And I can tell you as a 49ers fan, I just hope that both teams lose. I know here today, whether it's a prop, a side, or a total. Ken's, what do you like?
So now that we've spent a lot of time in Broncos country this morning, as you just saw, we're in on Stiddy. Like, I could not be more bought in on the Stiddy experience. There was multiple Stiddy up cocktails. Everyone, Stiddy up shots, Stiddy up, like, cider. It was awesome.
You stand next to Thunder. I'm not going to come over here and talk about New England. I got news for you.
One thing we're not going to do is come over here and take the Pats minus the 3.5. No, we're just all in on the Broncos. We took about 5.5 earlier in the week. Still like the 3.5. The way this offense runs, it doesn't take hero ball to be successful. Will you settle for some field goals instead of go and end up with 7 points? Sure. But are you still in this game the way Drake May was playing last week? I think you're still in.
I mean, the spread can move another 6
Sorry,
points.
our guys.
I'm leaving the points at the door. It doesn't matter. I think the Broncos win this game, like Ken said. Jared Stidham doesn't have to be Superman here.
No.
He really doesn't. No. However, he might be.
He might be. You know who else he could be Superman too? Little Jordan Humphrey.
Oh, you love him. You love him.
When you talk about backup quarterbacks, think of the guys. Sorry, he's really passionate about Little Jordan Humphrey.
He loves
so, Thunder, that's exactly what I was thinking. How do you feel about Little Jordan? Thank you. Listen, that's a guy that you practice with. Nobody has 100%. Caught more balls from City than Little Jordan Humphrey. It's going to be 1 reception. It's going to be 7 yards, and it's going to be a touchdown potentially. So I like the sprinkle on the anytime touchdown. If you want to do receptions, I'm all in for that too. You got any props?
Jared Stidham, 2+ pass plus rush touchdowns. I think he does it all. I saw him walking in a cowboy hat, and I'm ready to Stiddy up, Katie. I'm ready to Stiddy up.
That's all we've done.
I'll tell you who's ready to city up. It's definitely Thunder behind you. That guy is locked in, fueling up for the game, getting ready to go here. Let's move on to the NFC Championship game between the Rams and the Seahawks. This line is 2.5. The total 45.5. And Ken's, I have to say, I took a peek at your bet here, and it warms my heart. This is a Katie Mock special.
Yes, me and you, Katie, like I'm always in on these quarterbacks and interception props, and it doesn't mean they have to lose the game. It doesn't mean they have to play poorly. You talk about a guy like your guy, Brock Purdy. Sometimes he just has to get it out of his system. Matthew Stafford, didn't have an interception last week. I think he's probably due for that. We talk about the Seahawks defense all the time. It is so hard to be prepared for them. They will always be 3 steps ahead of you. And again, it might just be necessary to be airing out the ball. And an interception comes, an interception comes.
It's like a get-going ball.
Yeah.
You know, you throw that big, you go, all right, I got to dial in. I got to dial in.
Yeah.
I think on the same side of the ball, Davante Adams is scoring in this game.
Yes.
He had the biggest catch of the season in the second half in the fourth quarter last game. And I think this is a guy that's been their red zone #1 all year long. And now you're playing the biggest game of the season.
Right. And it could be on the 1 yard line.
Literally on the 1 yard line.
In the red zone.
And I think this game also goes over, so I think we're going to get plenty of points. But I can't unsee Davante Adams' quick slam right there on the 1 yard line.
Points. Katie.
Good stuff, guys. Enjoy your time out there, and give Thunder a little pet for me. He is a good boy, and he looks like he deserves it. Appreciate the two of you.